Okay, so I'm reading on my forum where the fellow's asking, do good players have a night off too? And I think people make the mistake of thinking there were nights where, I talked about where I didn't meet anybody. And that's because I hunted by feel. That means I did not feel someone that I could feel a connection with. Okay? Um, I've only been with 133 girls, about 133, somewhere in there. All right? I've had 20 plus years to get more lays if I just wanted to just fuck every girl that walked by. But as I talked about, I hunted by feel. Like when I was a club dancer at America Live, I reached out my feelings, my senses, to feel the girls that I could feel a connection for. Okay, it's kind of like a metaphysical thing I was doing. And all the girls I'd been with, we had deep connection. We had deep sex, the kind of sex where you could come together, and it was powerful, super powerful. That's what I liked in a woman and sex. Okay, so I don't remember actually having a day off. I was always on. And I enjoyed and I loved going to the clubs and dancing. I loved meeting women, okay? And I can't think, why would I have a day off? That doesn't really make sense. I mean, I don't even know how to do a day off. I mean, that's like doing a day off from who I am. Does that make sense, fellas? I only know how to do a day on, which is be me. So when I went out, I always danced with girls. I didn't always pull them home, okay? But if I found a target that had what I wanted, which was that special feeling, that connection, okay, I always got some form of way of contacting them later on, all right? Later on, okay? So I didn't really have a night off on being me, is my point. I don't get it. I've seen it on forums where guys say, I just wasn't feeling it. How could you not feel who you are? I was having an off night. How could you have an off night of who you are? Now, the problem comes is that a lot of guys want to put on the mask that, I'm a PUA, high five, high five. Put on that mask of PUA or a player, and they wear the mask. I was a player, all right? I was. So it wasn't a mask. It was me. How can I have an off night for me? That does not make any sense to me. It makes sense when a guy tries to wear something as a mask, and that mask will slip, or he just doesn't feel like putting the mask on, or whatever. And that's what I teach guys not to do. Okay? It's like, when you do that, you're like a planet that spins out of control. His orbit spins out of control. And the other satellites, which is the women that is gravitating to your gravitational pull, they spin off also. That's where no attraction happens. All right? When you do something as what you are. Like, excuse me, a hunter hunts. A lion chases its prey. A lion does not have a day off from being a lion. It's either successful in its hunt, or it's not successful and it goes hungry. But it never has a day off as a lion. I never took a day off as a player. All right? And like I said, I've read where like little nerdlets would talk about how they had a day off, on those forums out there, even my own forums, obviously. And they just weren't feeling the night, and they just couldn't get into it. And fellas, I loved being me. I loved who I was. I loved my life. I really loved my life. I loved my apartment that I had. I loved my car. I loved my women. I loved going out, and I especially like going out alone and hunting. I love the whole seduction process in the chase, making that eye contact with a girl. And we knew it was going to happen. It's like that whole thing with the lion and the gazelle. The gazelle knows he's the lion's food. It's just a dance they do. Sometimes the gazelle gets away. The dance works to the gazelle's, rarely though, but sometimes the gazelle can get away. The dance works where the gazelle fucks up and gets away, really, because he's supposed to be food for the lion. As women, we're supposed to be food for me. I'm the hunter. Okay. So, like I said, I love that feeling of going out and that seduction, that making that eye contact, and we knew it was going to happen. I remember thinking that, it's a done deal. We made the contact. We found each other. Our minds, our subconscious minds brought us together. I'm what she was looking for. Okay? She was looking for that motherfucker to fuck her up emotionally so she will leave players alone and go find a nice guy and settle down with. That's what brought her to me. Okay? So, I love the feeling, reaching out with my senses and finding women that I could connect with. And I never not loved it as someone who claims to have a day off. I never not loved being me. Does that make sense, fellas? I think the guys that say that, they haven't defined themselves who they are. They're going out pretending. They haven't truly become. And when you affirm that you're a player and keep doing it, that's why I'm so insistent on you guys becoming players. But whatever, if you're a pickup artist or a player, by the way, players are the original, pickup artists are the new, these internet people. Most likely, Caucasian males or Asian males. There are a few smatterings of blacks and Indians, which is another form of Asian, black-Asian combination people. If you study history of Indians, that's where that came from. The first Indians were the Dravidians. So anyway, enough history shit. But whatever you are, you got to define who you are and become it. All right? I'm insisting on you guys becoming players, having some fun in the game for a couple of years, dating lots of girls, then settling down after you gain your power, so that when you settle down with a woman, she will have no control over you. I've seen way too many men fucked up over women, and I see it all the time. They get fucked up. That's why these guys get fucked up, go out and shoot the girl and the boyfriend, and shoot themselves, because they can't let it go, they can't replace. I don't want to see my guys, that happen to my guys. You're so fucked up in your head, you have no power in your lives. This is the second chakra stuff. You got to learn to handle this before you can move on to having personal power in your life. So you got to learn how to have control and become. That's why I'm insisting that you become a player. A player always knows he can get more pussy. That's just the way it is. That's the flow of the universe. The universe brings to us pussy. I remember teaching my boy about that years ago. He said, man, you always get somebody. I said, that's the way it is. I'm a player. The universe brings me my food. These women are looking for me. I just make it available so they can find me. There's no struggle here, no toe chasing to go find what's looking for me. That's why I teach you guys to look for what's looking for you. Okay? It makes it simple. It makes the whole thing simple. We do that. We go out on the floor, we dance. I do my sexual shit with them and pull them into me, and boom, they're mine. We go home. I do the stuff that I just finished in my ebook, all of it, to them, and they get addicted. That's the way it is. And he was like, "But man, tell me about the metaphysical stuff." And I actually over the years I never really talked about that too much. And he said, "I know there's something man." And it's stuff that I actually taught myself and learned. And when I was a kid, I practiced, energy, projects, all that kind of stuff. And it's stuff that I just somehow just figured out how to do. I don't know where it came from. It's just like an instinct. I don't know what you guys. Most of you guys are like left brain. You're European controlled, and because that portion of the population doesn't believe in people that read energy and stuff like that. But I went to a girl that read the energy, and she said, you got in a previous life. I don't do the previous life stuff, so I just shut her off. You were this guy that abused women, sexually by using your abilities. I did it again. I did it again. What can I say? I guess what goes around keeps going around through each lifetime. But to get up on a different subject, reincarnation to me, I don't even want to talk about it, because I'm Chris Arnett. If the spark that sparks this body was in someone else's body, that's not really me. Chris Arnett is the person that was born in Seattle, okay, was abandoned by his mother at 6 months of age, and partially raised for 4 or 5 months by his Aunt Flo that just passed away. Then, taken back, and then father came back in the picture and traveled to Japan twice, lived in North Dakota, South Dakota. I grew up all over the world, and basically settled here in Sacramento, California. Chris Arnett said that all those experiences has nothing to do with my soul. So I don't even want to, get in the whole reincarnation thing. I realized that inside my body there's a spark that we call the soul that caused my body to have the power to sit up. Without it, I'd be dead and limp. And what happens to me? I wonder about that all the time. Where do I go? Okay, I know my soul goes on, but that's not really me. My soul's been here experiencing what I experienced, but is that really me? If I had all these other previous lives, then who am I really? Think about it, fellas, as I kind of spark your brain a little bit. But to close out what I'm talking about, you really got to become, okay? You got to become. I'm insisting on being me, to tie those two together. I became the player. I became. So I did as a player did. And the universe responded to what I was. If you're a whiner, the universe is going to respond to what a whiner does and gets. You'll get more reasons or things to whine about. The universe is going to bring that shit to you. And that's why I teach you in my confidence program. I put my 15 days law of attraction course in there. So when you finish that, you understand how the universe works. So you know why it's vital to change yourself to a more confident individual and have a very positive outlook on life. I don't care if you're living in the ghetto or living almost in the streets. Okay? One of my guys, I forgot about this until recently, I just mentioned it. He was homeless, and I believe he was in Canada. And from that position, he started listening to my shows. This is when I first started. And he started, emailing me. He rose up to become a millionaire, fellas. I totally forgot about that stuff. He said he was going to join my site, and I'm not sure. I don't know who he is, though. If you're that guy listening to this, let me know who you are. I thought it was my one guy, hand in hand, because he's a multi-millionaire. He has mentors that he pays like $100,000 to, that has mentored him to his internet success. But this guy, he actually got a TV show up there, and then he had a wife and a big house. He lost the wife. And, he was almost back to going his way down, but he stopped himself and started rising back up. And I've been looking for that guy. I've been thinking about him every now and then. Where'd you go? He was talking to me on my email, and I don't use my playersupreme.gmail account very much. In fact, I haven't been to it in about 6 months. There's probably like a trillion piece of mail in there I got to delete. I just go in there and delete everything. So anyway, I use YouTube here for you guys to contact me. Send me a message. Not just make a comment, because I don't read all the comments that are under the videos there, fellas. But in closing, you do want to become. When you are something, define something, the universe bends around what you define yourself as. Losers always will get losers responses from the universe. Winners, that's why they always win. You always wonder why is that guy always getting girls? Because he's got a mindset, he always gets girls. Like I told my buddy, I always get women. It just is. When you have that kind of attitude, it just becomes. Does that make sense? Let me know if you don't understand what I'm saying. Okay? All right, fellas. Good luck to you.